Hello everybody, Maven here, and I'm sure you all already saw the TWID from last Thursday. If not, I'll be going over it extensively in this video, and I'll also link it down below if you'd like to look at it for yourself. But as you know, Bungie revealed all of the exotic perk rolls that roll on the new exotic class items. So in this video, I will be build crafting or theory crafting prismatic builds with them on each character. And for those who didn't know, these exotic class items can only be equipped when on a prismatic subclass, so you can't be using them to cheese other builds. And each of these class items roll with 8 perks in each column, and Bungie's adding a specific activity that you can do to farm these class items. Hopefully it's quick and easy, because if not, it's going to be really tough to get the 2 perks that you want. But anyways, enough introductions. We're going to start with the builds here on Warlock, because there is definitely the least to talk about on Warlock in my opinion, and then subsequently Titan, and then Hunter has the most to talk about. But maybe I'm just biased because I'm a Hunter main, but let's get to it. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so I managed to get a solid setup with both of the articles side by side here. This is the one from a few weeks ago where they revealed all of the abilities, aspects, and fragments, which I will have to refer to throughout this video as well. And then on the left here we have the exotic class items. As you can see, first column, second column, so you can mix and match 1 perk from each column as you would any legendary weapon. So these top 3 rows here, Assassin, Inmost Light, Ophidian, and then Star Eater, Synthosteps, and Verity, those perks roll on either Warlock, Titan, or Hunter. As you can see, the top 6 right here are all the same on every single class. So I just wanted to point out first before I get to Warlock that there is a combination that all 3 classes can do, and that is a combination of Heart of Inmost Light with Verity's Brow. So Inmost Light says using an ability empowers your other 2 abilities, improving their regenerate, but the word empower typically means it also makes them stronger, just like the normal Heart of Inmost Light does. So if that works, and it actually works the way we think it does, that's going to stack awesome with the Verity's Brow. Weapon Final Blows, with the damage type matching your grenade energy, grants you a stacking grenade damage bonus. It goes up to 5 stacks and increases your grenade damage by 100%. So if that stacks or even multiplies with the Inmost Light empowerment, we're going to have some really strong nades. So for Titan, the play is definitely going to be pulse grenades. Those are going to be pretty strong. For Hunter, it's definitely going to be grapple, especially when paired with the 1-2 punch shotgun. And that's going to feel like Banner of War Titan, seriously. And for Warlock's probably going to be threadling grenades as the play. But for Warlock, it gets a little bit more interesting because of a certain exotic choice, and that's going to be the Osmiomancy. So you would think the Osmiomancy only works with cold snap grenades because that's what the old one's based around. But when it's on Prismatic, it's a little bit different. It says your grenades recharge quicker on hits. It doesn't say specifically cold snap grenades, so I guarantee you it's gonna work with any grenade. Now, if you've never experimented with this before on Osmiomancy, you actually have to make direct impact with your grenade throw on their body. With the cold snap, it travels along the floor and hits them. That's not gonna count. So I don't know if that's gonna work with the storm grenade or like the AoE of vortex grenade. Obviously, healing grenade's not gonna do that. But for threadling grenades, there's no way to make contact either, but I'm thinking that maybe the threadlings hitting them counts. If that works with the Osmiomancy, that's going to be extremely spammy. That is going to be amazing. And when you pair this along with Feed the Void's Devour, and then also the Facet of Balance, where rapidly defeating targets with dark damage grants grenade energy, those 2 things combined is just going to be infinite threadling grenade spam, essentially. I hope it works out the way I think it does, because that's going to be nutty. But then remember, those threadling grenades are going to be even stronger when you pair them along with that Verity ability. But another thing I'm thinking is that you can pair that potentially along with the Starfire. And again, typically it would only work with fusion grenades, but on Prismatic it works with any grenades. You just got to deal damage with the weapon from an empowered source, or get final blows with the weapon from an empowered source for additional grenade energy. Now, typically, this only works with Empowering Rift and Well of Radiance. However, Prismatic's not going to have Well of Radiance, as you can see, so I'm thinking maybe there's a chance that this could work with Radiant as well. And seeing how easy it is for Facet of Dawn to make us Radiant, that is going to be absolutely insane if it works. I'm telling you, it's going to be just infinite threadling grenade spam. So that was the first build I had in mind for the exotic class item. The second build I had in mind for Warlock here was the Deadly Rifts build. It's going to be Rift spam, and every time we put down a Rift, it's going to be insane because we get the Hellion Turret, the new Solar Soul, along with Weaver's Call to throw out some threadlings. And we're going to have in the first column here the second filament. So we cast an Empowering Rift, we get Devour. Now the reason that we want that is because if we go down to the fragments here, there's Facet of Hope. This is while you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. So since the second filament is going to give us Devour, that is an elemental buff. So we just get more Rift energy just by having that up, and it's going to be very easy to keep that up because you know how Devour goes. It's got a very generous timer. And then in the second column here, we're going to have Spirit of Vesper. So our rifts periodically release shockwaves. So let's put this all together. You slam down a rift. You get Devour, increase regen, you get shockwaves, you get a turret, and you get threadlings. Like, you get some really explosive rifts, and we can spam them pretty efficiently with that Facet of Hope. So that's the second build I had in mind, and for the final build, it's going to be a melee build. Now, Warlock and Titan have the same kind of thing going on, where Titan has like infinite consecrations because you get 3 Frenzied Blade charges, and that's going to be one of the main Titan builds. And Warlock kind of has the same thing. I guarantee you what's going to be the most popular here is the fact that we can spam Lightning Surge because we get 3 Arcane Needle charges. So what you can pair with that in the first column could potentially be the Assassin. So finishers empowered melee final blows grant you invisible. So you go in for that electro slide and suddenly become invis. That sounds kind of crazy, but I definitely think that the better option here is going to be the Spirit of Necrotic. So you can poison them when you lightning surge them. That is going to be pretty nasty. That's going to do a lot of damage. And it's going to do even more damage when you pair it along with the Synthoceps. Improve melee damage when you are surrounded. It's plus 165% melee damage. So if you had that and then like go invis with Assassin, it's going to be like no downside to just rushing in there and spamming lightning surges in PvE. That's going to be insane. And obviously you're going to have on heavy-handed when you do this stuff. So you're going to make an Orb of Power. When you pick it up, you're going to use a Facet of Purpose. So you get like Restoration, Frost Armor, Woven Mail, and Overshield to make it even lesser of a downside. So this is just going to be a very, very aggressive ad clear build. It's going to be excellent. And just when you thought this melee ad clear build was going to go crazy, you ain't seen nothing yet, because now let's move on to Titan. And Titan is where it gets a little bit crazy. So we can do the same exact thing with Spirit of the Assassin and Spirit of the Synthoceps with triple consecration charges because of the triple frenzy blade. So there's that. But then we move on down here and we got Spirit of Severance along with Spirit of Contact. If you haven't seen my Severance Enclosure build video yet, definitely go and check it out if you've never seen Severance in action, because this exotic is insane after the buff. The radius of the explosions, they do a lot of damage and the radius is very generous. And speaking of generous radiuses, Point Contact can embrace. Damaging a target with the powered melee causes all nearby enemies to suffer lightning strikes and become jolted. And that radius is extremely generous as well. So just one single powered melee, everything in the room's just gonna explode. And also chain explosions, by the way, get lightning struck, become jolted. Just from the melee spam, it is going to be absolutely gnarly for ad clear. So this is 100% a build I'm going to be keeping my eye on. And the next build I wanted to talk about is one I talked about before when this article on the right first came out. I said how I believe that Abeyant Leap is going to be the absolute meta build on Prismatic Titan. And I stand by that even more so with this exotic class item, because you got Dranger's Lash and Shackle Grenades, right? But you can still have Consecration and Frenzied Blade alongside that for the Consecration spam. And as you can see on the left side column, we got Spirit of Abeyant Leap, but on the right side column, we also get Armamentarium. So we can have 2 Shackle Grenade charges, Dranger's Lash, and still spam Consecrations. Talk about ad control. We're going to be controlling the battlefield like crazy with this build. And I stand by what I said before, that this is going to be the meta Prismatic Titan build 100%. This is insane. But I do believe there are more ways to take advantage of the Armamentarium. A couple more things come to mind, the first of which is going to be along with Spirit of the Bear. Move faster while guarding with Unbreakable. Damage you block with Unbreakable is converted into super energy, so you can spam more Thunder Crashes, which is going to be awesome. Unbreakable is that new aspect. I'll put it on the screen right now. It's the one where you hold down your grenade button, which puts up a barricade you can walk around with and block damage, and then you can release it to push the target back. It seems like it's going to be very fun and very good. And obviously, since that's consuming your grenade charge to use that ability, having 2 grenade charges with the Spirit of Armamentarium is going to be awesome. And then the last thing to mention with Armamentarium is obviously the Heart of Inmost Light, just straight up ability spam build, because the amount of consecrations we are going to be spamming, we're going to be constantly empowering our grenade, and having 2 charges of a nade is going to be very, very, very spammy. Now that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about on Titan. There's more to talk about, but those are the main ones that stand out to me, especially the whole Severance Contact thing and the Abeyant Leap Armamentarium thing. Those are going to be like the main builds in my opinion. All right, now I was just about to move on to Hunter, but I forgot one very crucial thing to talk about with the Severance Contact build. I would have been mad if I uploaded the video and forgot to mention this, but Severance and Contact, they want you to get, you know, powered melee final blows and stuff, right? And it looks like there's no true, like, actual infinite spammable melee, and we don't have Roaring Flames. But Knockout is the one thing that actually works here, because when Knockout is procced and it's there for 6 seconds, your uncharged melees count as powered melees. So that is just going to allow you to absolutely spam the heck out of Severance and Contact. That is why it's going to be an insane build. And now it's time to move on to the Hunter. So for those who are regular viewers of my channel and who know me, I have been maining the Strand Hunter Assassin's Cowl build over pretty much the past year. It's my main build that I play a majority of the time. I love it, and I can't live without it. But unfortunately, they took away the main aspect of what made the Assassin's Cowl good, and that is that when you get that powered melee final blow, you also get a bump of health and shields back. You get some healing. Now you just become invis, which is not enough because you're still going to be in red health and die to some splash damage like a Hive Boomer. And also, we don't have Widow Silk anymore, and I'm so sad they didn't put Armamentarium on you know, all the classes, so I can't have 2 grapples anymore. But also Widow Silk, what it did is it put up a grapple point for you, so you can like spam grapples once you put up that point over like a spawn zone of enemies. So it's like harder to spam like Assassin's Cowl shenanigans anymore. So I think the new best in slot for like a grapple build is probably going to be Caliban's Hand, because powered melee final blows trigger an ignition, which obviously works with any of these melee abilities, but also with the grapple melee. So this is going to be absolutely destructive. I love this. And there are a lot of things that you can pair with the Caliban, you know, like a Liar's Handshake. There's 6 Coyotes, so you can get double Gambler's Dodges to spam more powered melees. Syndoseps seems crazy because you get plus 165% melee damage when you're surrounded, and that does sound insane along with Combination Blow, because remember, Combination Blow also grants you a stacking melee damage bonus up to 3 stacks and has a very generous timer, and when you get Final Blows the Combination Blow, it fully recharges your dodge energy, so you can pair that with Gambler's Dodge, and then you just can infinitely dodge punch, dodge punch, dodge punch. So having these infinite plus 200 something % melee damage that are causing solar ignitions everywhere sounds insane, but you're going to die doing that because there's no healing. Normally you would do that with the Assassin's Cowl to get like free health and invis every single time, but now we can't do that anymore. So instead of Syndoseps, I could see the play actually being Wormhusk. Since we're dodging every couple seconds to do this Combination Blow stuff, we're going to get a bump of health back, and that is going to be very good for survivability, and then just going to cause ignitions everywhere. So while Wormhusk seems like the safer play, Syndoseps could still work out very well, because remember what we talked about with the Warlock melee build earlier. We got Facet of Purpose, so we can make an Orb of Power every time we go for that Combination Blow and pick it up and just get restoration. So the Syndoseps build could still work. It's just that the Wormhusk is just a little bit safer. So the melee build is the first build I see, and onto the second build, it's probably just gonna be a Gear Falcon's Hauberk build, because we do have Stylish Executioner to get that chain of invis going. When main target's volatile, we'll kill them, we go invis. Probably just pair that along with Heart of Inmost Light for the ability spam. But I'm excited that this might work with Grapple, because it now says, you can see right here, Stylish Executioner, which now triggers by defeating an enemy afflicted by any subclass debuff, and technically grapple punches unravel targets. I don't know if it'll trigger if you straight up kill the target with the grapple, but technically they are unraveled, so it should be a subclass debuff and make you invis, and then you can get that chain going. So that's just like a dream come true of having a Gear Falcon's Hauberk build that is capable of also grappling. So I believe that's going to be a very strong utility build, especially for things like Onslaught. The next build here is going to be a raid build. It's going to be a super spam build with Spirit of Galanor along with Spirit of Star Eater. They're both super based abilities here. And Galanor typically only works with Blade Barrage, but now it works with any super. Hits and final blows with your super, return super energy after it ends. So yeah, just be able to get more supers for like raid boss encounters, and then Star Eater obviously makes our super stronger. So that's going to be the go-to raid build. And then the next build is going to be Spirit of Renewal along Spirit of Surturacne. So you get Woven Mail when you use your grenade. And then when you use a Dusk Field and you're inside of it, you take reduced damage and targets deal reduced damage. So the resist from this and the resist from this paired together is going to turn you into an absolute tank. Now, I think there's a chance this could be broken. You know, like even in like a Grandmaster, if you just like throw a Dusk Field on a boss and just stand in there with a sword, you might just be immortal. You might be invincible with like Woven Mail and then the resist from here and the reduced damage, like everything combined. We'll have to test that out though. And then finally, I wanted to mention a PvP build. Obviously, what people are looking at for like Prismatic Hunter and Crucible is going to be the combination of Winter Shroud with Threaded Spectre, which is going to be very, very annoying because you dodge right up on them, they get slowed, and then a Spectre is going to blow up on them and they can't escape because they're slowed. I thought about pairing that with the Bombardiers. That's going to be absolutely nasty. But if you wanted to pair with the exotic class item, I think the best perks for PvP here in the first column is definitely going to be Ophidian. Weapons ready very quickly. Now, we're going to pair that along with Coyote so we get 2 dodges so we can like spam these more. However, there's a little bit of a thing here people might mention is Spirit of the Dragon. Using your class ability reloads all weapons and increase weapon handling speeds. The main thing about Dragon Shadow that's good though is the handling, but you got to dodge to do that. But with Ophidian, you just have it at all times. So in my opinion, just the best in slot is just always going to be Ophidian in the first column for Crucible. So yeah, Ophidian 6 Coyote with these double dodge perks going to be nasty, but I also think Wormhusk is worthy of note. Some people love Wormhusk, some people hate it. I definitely like it, and I think I'm going to try both of these out to see which one I like better, but they both have a lot of potential. And that about wraps up all of my exotic class item prismatic build ideas. TLDR, Warlock meta, I believe, is either going to be Osmiomancy Threadling spam or Necrotic Synthos Seps Lightning Surge spam. And for Titan, 100% going to be Abeyant Leap Consecration spam. And for Hunter, it's either going to be Caliban Synthos Seps or Gear Falcon Heart of Inmost Light. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to drop a like and a comment because it pleases the algorithm gods. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing as I am on my way to that big goal of 50K subs by the end of the year. And you can help me get there. And thank you so much if you do. And also, needless to say, when the final shade comes out, I'm going to be putting out a bunch of individual build videos for every single build I mentioned in this video here. So stick around for that, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.